Imagine working at a place where all the leader does is making decisions that don't necessarily favor you. Hi everyone, welcome to Gives Like Consulting podcast. This is Eva, your consultant for employee engagement and retention. Hope you're doing amazing. So here we are, new month, new series, right? This month we're going to look into different types of management and how or when to apply them. The aim of this is to help you determine which management style is more appropriate to use in your workplace and with your teams, depending on the situation at hand. Remember the saying, take care of your employees and they will take care of your business. So motivate them, inspire them to do their very best in everyday work, and ultimately they might stay with you and work for your company as long as they can. Okay, so here we go. We are starting today with two management styles. The first one is autocratic management. This type of management is known as centralized control, where decisions are made by the manager without input from employees. So typically, how do we recognize an autocratic management? Well, it's when decisions are made quickly without seeking or barely seeking the input of employees. Although the decisions might have a direct effect on their everyday life at work. And the least thing you could do for your teams here is that seek their opinions and ideas on subjects that relate to them directly. You would be surprised how some employees can help you make some of the best decisions for your company without it costing you a dime. All you have to do is to listen and be interested in what they have to say. Some are young in age, but very wise. Okay, so pay attention. Right, back to the characteristics of autocratic leadership. Like I mentioned, decisions are made hastily without a proper input of employees. And then also you find out that there is a high level of control. Like management have their eyes on everything you do. Okay, you have very few freedom and there are rules everywhere. Now, there are some good sides for this kind of management. It comes when there is a critical situation at hand. And most of the times, when there is a crisis, everyone looks to the leader for directions to come out of that situation, right? This is when, as a leader, you have to boldly step up and make a decision and give the right directions for everyone to follow in order to get things back into control. So this means that as a leader, you don't have to wait till crisis pop up before you think of an emergency plan. No, it's when everything is going on well that you actually need to take some time out and think of ways and possible solutions for any unplanned things that could happen. Okay, so for example, if there is any financial shortage, what are the things you could put on hold until things get better? Or if there is a fire in the building, what do? Do you have all the equipment necessary to evacuate everyone or stop the fire if you can? See, these are some of the situations you need to think ahead when your mind is at peace, okay? So, in case of fire emergency, for example, you can practice doing evacuation exercise with the teams to see how it goes and if there are some things you need to adjust that could save lives in case of a real emergency. And there are some other basic things like first aid tools. Do you have that at hand in the office? Okay, you shouldn't wait for crisis to strike before you have a plan. Okay, now on the other hand, this type of management, so remember we are dealing with autocratic leadership here. So this kind of leadership can lead to a low employee morale and can hinder their creativity. Imagine working at a place where all the leader does is making decisions that don't necessarily favor you. A typical example. Let's say you want to paint the walls of the whole office in yellow. And you just go ahead and buy the paint, hire a painter, and that's it. You paint the whole walls in yellow. And you didn't even consider asking the employees how they feel about that color. Meanwhile, they are the ones that have to come each day of the week and sit there in that office to work. The least thing you could have done is to ask them, hey, we are thinking of repainting the walls. Do you have any ideas for the colors? Simple. But that could spark a fun conversations among your teams. And I believe they would appreciate you asking your opinion on that. And by doing that is actually what we call a democratic management. This type of management gives a voice to employees in decision-making processes, and it encourages team collaboration. It increases employee morale and creativity. However, this kind of management can slow decision-making and may lead to conflicts. And in case there are disagreements or indecision from the team, the manager retains the final decision authority. Laissez-faire management. Now, that's a French word. Laissez-faire is basically when you leave people to do whatever they want. So here is when the manager just let you do your thing and there is no or very little supervision. And this can sometimes result in a low quality work done, okay? But in some cases, laissez-faire management can look like the manager playing the role of an advisor or a mentor rather than a boss imposing stuff to their teams. And so the employees are empowered to make decisions that help with the work at hand. There is more room for employee inputs in this type of management. But this can only work when you have a highly skilled and self-motivated teams. It can foster innovation and independence. However, some employees can't operate well without a manager giving them guidelines to follow. So this means that as a manager, you need to know your teams and their abilities, okay? And then we have what we call the visionary management. This type of management is centered around articulating a clear and compelling vision of the future and inspiring employees to work towards it. So what are some of the characteristics you can find in this type of management? There's a strong focus on the future and strategic goals. Leaders communicate a clear and inspiring vision. They encourage innovation and forward thinking. This can energize and align the teams toward common goals. However, this type of management may struggle with practical day-to-day management. And so if as a manager, you use this type of management, you need to break things down to the level of your teams on a daily basis, okay? You need to make the vision very clear and give guidelines on how to make it possible in everyday work life, okay? And the last one I'll add today is called bureaucratic management. This type of management relies on established procedures and formalities to manage and direct activities. So it's all about rules and procedures, right? And it emphasizes on hierarchy and chain of command. This type of management is very effective in places like factories and construction companies because there's a lot of operations going on, machines running, and very often a lot of noise around. So it's good and effective to have rules and procedures in place. It gives a sense of stability and consistency in what every worker has to do. And also it can help track their workflow and pinpoint where something went wrong in order to make adjustments. However, the other side of this type of management is that it can be inflexible and slow to adapt to change. You know, it's so difficult for some people to change the way they operate once they have adapted to a certain way of functioning. And so changing rules and procedures in certain settings can be a difficult task. So you need to go slowly in order to get the most of your employees to move ahead into change with you. And let's be frank, sometimes when you want to bring some changes in rules and procedures in the workplace, not everybody will be happy about it. And some will choose to leave. And if the changes you want to bring about in your company or among your teams is absolutely necessary to move on, well, you need to foresee that and prepare for it. If everyone moves along with you, great. But if they don't, just prepare for it. Think ahead to see how you would go about it, okay? Right. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Sit back and enjoy our song for this month. Bye for now.
Slide and I'm right beside you. The fire in motion, the fire in motion. The desert sun sinking, sleepy and low. But we're just waking, we are waking. River time is shake off these blues. I let my hair out, you slip off your shoes. I feel like a baby newborn in the spring. I'm setting down the sadness and I won't remember it when I'm bright as the sun and you're high as a kite, and we're daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters tonight at Coachella. Coachella. I'm a warm bleeding heart, you're a generous soul, and I love you though I never met you before. To Coachella. Coachella. We are standing on the shore, in the smoke and the starlight, on the edge of a human sea, and the tide is in. I am bright as the sun, you are high as a kite. We are daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters tonight at Coachella.